next station.
I mean, where the should I really even start? I got hoes that I'm keeping in the dark. I got my niggas across the street living large. Thinking back to the fact that they dead. Thought my raps were in facts, so they sat with the bars. I got 2 phones, one need a charge.
Okay, so we flew JetBlue to Paris. And I'm going to be honest with you, this was one of the most affordable flights I have flown in a long time. However, the question is, was it worth it? So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be going over my international flight, flying JetBlue to Paris, and we're going to break down the whole trip. I filmed little segments and clips of the trip while I was traveling. So we're going to talk about comfort, legroom, food, the cost, and just kind of compare it to other flights at the time and just the overall experience. So for me, when I'm booking flights, I like to consider the overall cost, the round trip cost versus booking the flight one way. So I typically book my flights in one-way segments first, and then I'll do a separate one-way segment. And I've found that I actually save a lot of money doing that. So for this particular flight, I did book a one-way flight. We had a layover in Boston, which went very well. I also took a look at the flight plan ahead of time. So I went on the JetBlue website and I just kind of tracked that exact flight for at least 3 weeks in advance just to see if there were any cancellations, delays. There was also a snowstorm going on nationwide, and I wanted to see if JetBlue was going to be impacted. They had slight delays, but it was by 10 minutes or something. Compared to other airlines, JetBlue did fabulous, okay? Our particular flight was on time each time. There were no cancellations at all. The connecting flight was on time, even though we had probably I would say a good 45 minutes between landing and boarding the next flight. So it was kind of tight. If we got there late, we would probably have missed the flight. And I was a little scared about that. But we got there on time. We had enough time to get to the next gate, get something to eat, and then board the next flight. I'm actually going to read to you exactly the details of this flight. So it was from DCA, Washington, D.C. to Paris, of course. We flew into CDG. We left at 6:15 p.m. and arrived in Paris at 9:20 a.m. Our layover was in Boston. We had a 1 hour and 20 minute layover. The flight from Boston was from 9:09 p.m. to 9:20 a.m. So everything that was included was a carry-on bag, the first check bag, no extra fee for that. Usually when you fly international, most international airlines will allow you to bring your first checked bag for free. This was economy class. We had 2 kids fly with us. The total I paid was $1,792. So that was about $448 a person. I also used some of my Chase points to book this flight. So I actually paid $1,352.51. This flight for about 400 and something a person to Paris was amazing in terms of cost. The other reason why this flight was a good deal is because we flew during spring break. So this was about late March, early April, plus the costs of just inflation, partial government shutdown going on. And I figured, with inflation, gas prices, fuel, spring break, this was also a good deal. So the first leg from DC to Boston was pretty quick. And honestly, it was uneventful, which is what I said. Everything was very smooth. Boarding was easy. There were no delays. And this is really just the setup for the international leg. So when we boarded the flight to Paris, my first impression was that the plane was clean. It was very organized, nothing super luxurious, but we definitely felt comfortable enough to fly for 7.5 hours. But let's get to the leg room. Let me just show you my leg room. This is my leg room. Because the leg room, I would say, was just okay. It wasn't amazing, but it also wasn't totally uncomfortable. When we flew back, we flew on United, and I did notice a difference between just my overall comfort level. I felt like maybe this was just in my head, but I felt like I had a little bit more room. The seats felt a little bit more softer on United, whereas with JetBlue, the seats looked newer. But I don't know. I didn't feel like they had enough cushion for me, but they weren't super hard. It just wasn't a 10 out of 10 in comfort. But what airline is, right? Overall, I could sit without feeling cramped, but it wasn't one of those flights where you feel like you have a ton of space either. So overall, I'm going to give the legroom about a 7 out of 10. Not bad, not amazing. There's only 2 rows though. So there's the row here and then our row right here. So it's not like a big airplane. It's very small, but the room on the airplane is pretty good. They give you a blanket and no pillow. And I will let you guys know how the food tastes. Okay, guys, let's talk about the food. Because, yeah, I was not feeling it at all. When you get on the plane, you can easily order your food on the screen. You just click the menu and you put in your menu order and you can order your drink. Okay, this meal was very interesting to say the least. This was a chicken grain bowl. It was balsamic chicken. I will say that the chicken was seasoned pretty well. Everything else was just not tasty. Like, I don't know what kind of grains those were, but it was kind of mushy. The sides that they served was a corn kind of salad with like breaded cheese on it and maybe some green beans. Not good at all. Just a very basic meal. So yeah, the flight's affordable, but you are not getting luxury dining. For dessert, we had a banana pudding kind of cake or something, or maybe just like a pound cake. I don't know what it was, but it was really good, but it was also very messy. There were crumbs everywhere. So I'm going to give the food a 3 out of 10, which is probably one of the worst in-flight food experiences I've ever had. But we're used to it. We typically buy food in the airport. We're right outside of the gate before we board. My son and my husband did buy food from the Wahlberg Brothers, their little restaurant in Boston, and they got some vegetarian burgers, which were pretty good. The alcoholic drinks are included typically on international flights. This flight was kind of limited to beer and red and white wine, and also sparkling wine. I did have some sparkling wine, which was good, so that was a plus. The entertainment, they did have a good selection of different like movies to watch on screen, and you know, I did watch a couple new movies, which was great. So I'm going to give the entertainment a 9 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good. I will say I think United's entertainment is probably top tier. Overall experience and my final verdict. So let's talk about it. Okay, so final answer. Would I fly from Washington, D.C. to Paris all over again, flying on JetBlue Airlines? And the answer is yes. I took into consideration all the factors I mentioned in this video. One, most importantly, was flying with 3 other people, 2 happened to be kids, and paying about $448 per person for a one-way flight to Paris. That deal was amazing. When I look at flights upcoming in the summer, in the fall, the prices are going up. Okay, I'm looking at one-way flights and they're like $500, $600, some even $700. So the main reason was cost. I think we found a great deal. Secondly, yes, the food sucked, but hey, we can buy food in the terminal or bring our own food on board. Third, I thought the spacing was overall okay. The cleanliness on the plane was great. The seats were new. They were upgraded leather seats. Did I feel like I can have more legroom? Probably. Were the seats super comfortable? Probably not. But are any seats comfortable? Not really. So, I mean, next time I can bring a butt cushion and sit on it. I don't know. Number 4, of course, baggage. Just being able to fly international and bring that first checked bag for free, and then having a carry-on bag on the plane. That was super convenient, especially for the kids. I was able to like check their bags as well with no extra cost. Customer service was excellent in terms of like on the plane. You know, the flight attendants were super polite, super kind, nice. I would definitely do it again, and I highly recommend it. If you plan on booking a flight to Paris anytime soon and you're considering flying JetBlue, I give it 2 thumbs up. Thanks for watching this video and watching this review. I'm also going to be sharing highlights and tips from my trip in Paris, just where to stay, where to shop, where to eat, and just some of our experiences. So I'll be sharing some vlogs and some tips along the way. So make sure you guys come back and watch that. Subscribe as well to the channel, and thank you for watching again. Toodaloo!
The next station. I mean, where the should I really even start? I got hoes that I'm keeping in the dark. I got my on the street living large. Thinking back to the fact that they dead. Thought my raps wasn't facts, so they sat with the bars. I got 2 phones, one need a charge.